Welcome into another edition of Mavs Latest. I'm Josyah Howard, and before we get it started, please subscribe down below. Please comment as I'm going along. Anything you got for me, leave it in the comments. Like, rate, subscribe. Dallas Mavericks every day, all day, with me, Josyah Howard, on Mavs Latest. But let's start here. Dallas Morning News. They presented a bunch of odds from FanDuel surrounding the Dallas Mavericks. And let's start here because their title odds are the 12th best in the league at plus 3,300. And if you believe in the Mavericks, I still wouldn't put money on that. I don't think they're quite ready to win a championship yet. Um, Western Conference Finals win plus 2,000. All right, not terrible value there. But again, I need to see a little more before I'm comfortable putting money on them to win the entire Western Conference. Now, here's a bet that's interesting. The Southwest Division, they have the third best odds at plus 1,100. So, FanDuel has the Spurs and the Houston Rockets having better chances to win the division. And that's where I think the Mavericks they have a shot at having a better record than the Rockets and the Spurs. They have a shot if they get healthy enough at the right time and they could stay afloat until Kyrie comes back. It's not out of the realm of possibility that the Mavericks win this division. Now, is it right that they have the third best odds? Yeah, it is. It's correct. But that's a bet where at plus 1,100, I don't mind making that. That they have a shot. To say that they don't have a shot to win that division is weird to me. They have the most risk involved in terms of the injury they already have, and AD has injury history, of course. Cooper Flagg hit a rookie wall at any time, so I'd say the Mavericks have the most risk. But to say the Spurs don't have risk, De'Aaron Fox has injury history. Wembanyama obviously dealt with some injury going out of the season last year with the blood clot, and you hope he continues to bounce back from that. He has been cleared of late from that. But so yeah, I just think the Southwest isn't such a shut and closed case that Houston or San Antonio is definitely taking it. Now, at this point in the summer, Mavericks having the third best odds is not offensive, but if you want the juice, you could get it now plus 1,100 through FanDuel. But Cooper Flagg's odds are a little bit more interesting. The favorite for rookie of the year at minus 185. He has some very, 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 very long shot bets of MVP at plus 50,000 and defensive player of the year plus 50,000. So yeah, probably not winning MVP, probably not winning defensive player of the year. But rookie of the year at minus 185, and I think that number as the season goes on is just gonna climb, climb, climb. I don't think we'll get a better number than minus 185 for Cooper Flagg. So if you want to make money on that bet, I think 180 minus 185 is definitely the move there. Another one that was a very long shot bet with Cooper Flagg plus 20,000 for clutch player of the year. Just some more team bets in terms of the Mavericks. Over under 40 and a half wins. We talked about that in a different pod. Um, I would take the over on that. I think they make the playoffs. I think they win about 45 games or more. I'd take them about 45 wins. 45 or 46 wins. I feel pretty comfortable at that range. So I actually think that 40 and a half is you could smash that. I think they go over that, no doubt about it. Make or miss the playoffs. It's pretty even at yes at minus 106 and no at minus 125. I wouldn't touch that at all, to be honest. If I were, And again, I wouldn't bet any of this stuff at all, but in terms of just betting advice, that is the odds for the Mavericks in terms of some stuff that Dallas Morning News presented with some FanDuel odds. And one more thing I want to mention: AD Defensive Player of the Year tied for fourth highest odds at plus 3,000 with Amen Thompson of the Houston Rockets, and Clutch Player of the Year plus 7,500 for AD. I wouldn't bet anything with AD at all if I was just giving betting advice on that, just because he's an injury risk. So it's just not worth it, really, if that's the case. Um, but the next thing I wanted to get to here on Mavs latest, former uh, Dallas Mavericks assistant coach, Marko Milich. He has embraced a new chapter in Slovenian basketball, excuse me, but it seems like he is trying to make the jump back to the NBA after 3 seasons as an assistant coach with the Dallas Mavericks, but he decided to return home to focus on developing Slovenia's next generation of talent. He now holds a pivotal role with the Basketball Association of Slovenia, tasked with guiding young prospects and supporting the national team as they prepare for international competition. But he remains interested in the NBA, and he spoke with Epica 24, and he addressed the departure from the Mavericks and the lack of coaching offers following Luka's blockbuster trade to the Lakers. And he said, "For me, the best years were the ones that Luka and I spent in Dallas. He was the league's top scorer. He led the team to the finals, so it was a privilege and a joy to coach there. When a story ends, you always need some time to get over it. But my head is already with the national team, despite his, he continues by revealing that he did not have a serious coaching interest with the Lakers during the offseason. Coaches didn't change during the year as they already have professional staffs in place, so there was there was no real interest from them in the summer. While he is focused on Slovenia, like he said, he is open to an NBA opportunity, and he says, "You never know. Even before I thought that at this age the door would be open for me in the US and that I would be able to work with Doncic, the best player in the world. But now I'm focused on helping the national team, helping young people, and we'll see what the future brings." So obviously, doesn't want to lean too far away from his focus with that national team, but still shouting out his time with Luka as some of the best of his life and hoping that, never say never, doors never closed, but he is very open to a return to the NBA. Now, here on Mavs Latest, one thing presented um, is the fact that there's this exclusive club that of rookies that have earned all NBA defensive team honors. Um, and there's only been 6 to do it. And Cooper Flagg, we talk about his development on offense, but we also talk about how polished and honestly veteran-esque, if a lack of a better term, that he already is on defense. And this article is presenting the idea that a goal for Cooper should be trying to enter this exclusive group of Victor Wembanyama, Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Manute Bol, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to be the only 6 rookies to be on the All-NBA defensive team. And, if he could do this, that would be, first of all, crazy. And I think everybody should have these types of goals if you're a high level athlete. But if he doesn't do this, I'm not going to be too upset. Obviously, like he'll make the All NBA rookie team. I think they do an All NBA defensive rookie team. But if not, he'll make the All NBA rookie team, the normal rookie team. So you want to have these goals in mind of not just making all rookie teams, but making all NBA teams, all defensive teams. You want to have these goals even as early as possible, but you don't want to put too much pressure on yourself to succeed in these goals, and then you're derailed on your journey to that goal. So I think Cooper is definitely the right man to have this goal. But do I realistically think he's going to join that exclusive group of six? I just don't see it. I really don't. But I'm excited to see what he can do. And a lot of this summer and as we build up to the regular season is going to be the anticipation of what Cooper Flagg can be, not only immediately, but when he's had some time in the league and when we get to February, March, April, what type of player will Cooper Flagg be? And that's going to be the most fascinating story to me when it comes to the Dallas Mavericks. But speaking of just approaching the regular season, the athletic insider Christian Clark, he gave the Mavericks an A for their offseason acquisitions, and he obviously mentions them adding Cooper Flagg, and he's not so attached to the quote unquote luck of getting him and just the fact that the small win of they got the number one pick, he's on the team, he's expected to be a monster, he impacts games. So that's a win to him, and he doesn't dock them for the quote unquote luck of it all. But convincing Kyrie Irving to decline his option and re up on a deal that gives them access to the taxpayer mid level exception, which they used to get D'Angelo Russell and make Daniel Gafford's extension happen, was obviously another good piece of business that they've done. Um, but that is the two catalysts of a pretty good offseason for the Mavericks, getting the number one pick in Cooper Flagg and getting Kyrie Irving on a pretty team friendly deal. And same thing with Daniel Gafford. And we're still waiting on an official PJ Washington extension. Tim McMahon said about a month ago that he expects that extension to get signed and he expects it to be a very tradable deal. So we will keep our eyes out for all of that. But one of the first A's I'm seeing for the Mavericks offseason, I wouldn't go that far, but I wouldn't go as low as a C plus B minus as I'm seeing. So I'd probably give the Mavs offseason so far a B plus. But nice to see that the Mavs getting some love for their offseason acquisitions with an A for their offseason grade. But to wrap things up with a little map chatter, according to Noah Weber of the Smoking Cuban, he thinks the next move for the Mavericks is a no-brainer, and that is signing Kai Jones to an Exhibit 10 contract. The former Texas Longhorn played 12 games for the Mavericks in the 24-25 season, starting 6 of them, averaging 11 points per game, including a 21-point game in March. He details that Dallas signed Jones to a two-way deal in the middle of the season, and he was everything they needed and more. He was immediately thrown into the fire thanks to the Mavs' crazy injury luck, and he even started 6 games. He became a fan favorite in Dallas due to his energy and dunks, and he was one of the few bright spots during a rough stretch after the Doncic trade. Even if they don't have room for him on the professional roster, a two-way contract would allow him to flip back and forth between the Mavericks and the Texas Legends. Um, and a lot of the chatter I do see around the Mavericks this offseason is the fact that Mavericks fans are a little distraught that they didn't bring back Kai Jones after a pretty promising role for the team last season during their injury unluckiness. And I just think with him, where you're already stuck in a spot where you have to drop somebody to even bring in Dante Exum, I just don't think you're too hyper focused on bringing in a Kai Jones right now, and you still have some things you got to do to finish off your off season and lock in your roster before training camp comes, because we're in August. We're gonna snap our fingers and be in training camp, and they're going to have to finalize this roster, and they're going to have to figure out what this roster is going to look like and what cut they need to make in order to officially bring back Dante Exum. But this has been Mavs Latest. I'm Josyah Howard. Again, please subscribe down below. Please leave any comments you got for me down below. And let's get it, y'all.